Record, boom, we're recording. Okay, so it's good to have you guys here. This is week 2 of fall 2020, and this is September 3rd, 2020, and we are going to be teaching week number 2 about AutoCAD. And what we're going to get into this week is going to be continuing on about the basic drawing commands. And then the other thing we want to get into is editing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go through this, and then I'm going to give you guys some time. By the way, let me ask you guys this right here. Did it work out pretty well, like me doing the lecture, and then you guys using the extra time for just drawing or just doing it on your own? Did that work out pretty well? Did that schedule work out well for you guys?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Here's the other thing I was going to say. What I'm going to do is I am going to always make myself available for the full class. I mean, right now I'm actually supposed to, the class, if we were at the school, would be like this. We would go from 6 o'clock to 6:50 would be lecture. In theory, I'd usually go over as far as that goes, and I just kind of mix the two up. And then it's supposed to be from 7 o'clock till 9:50, so nearly 3 hours of lab. So that's how I'm going to try to break this up. So then the remaining so the first hour is going to be lecture. The remaining 3 hours is going to be lab time. Now, as I'd said before, that lab time is going to be for you to work with. I'm not going to force you to stay here. It's like you're not, so it's not like it's so you're not in a classroom, so I can't really make you stay here. So if your time is better spent doing something else during that time, that's fine. But I'm going to be here available, like treat it like office hours. So if you need help with something in particular, that's when I can be there to help you too. So please feel free to do that. I just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the class and out of my instruction. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. And if you need to meet about something else, just get a hold of me. I am willing to meet with you guys and have you, and just do office hours. Just do a Zoom meeting individually, which I've done quite a bit of. So we can do that too. We can just do like a one-on-one type thing. So there we go. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We'll do a little bit of review, then we'll do the next thing. So first of all, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and I like to talk about what we've been working with. So I'm going to go here, and what I want to do is I want to go back out to here. And let's see here. All right, so out to there. Yeah, we'll go to here. Okay, and I'm going to share this. And then what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go out here. Can you guys see this right here? Can you guys see Blackboard?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so look at Blackboard right here. I've got the what to do when document. This is going to be pretty much this is going to be the framework. This is going to be the skeleton. This is going to be what you're going to refer to. And unless something changes, this is what we're going to do. So as I'd mentioned, today is September 3rd. What's due today? What we have due today right now is drawings A, B, C, and D. Okay, so you've got that right there. And I just got an email. Let me make sure that I'm not missing something. And let me just do that real quickly before I go on here, and we'll do this. And let me make sure I didn't miss something from somebody. Tonight's Zoom again. Okay, so I guess we're okay. All right, very good. Okay, so we'll go back to here. All right, so what we're looking at right here is we did A, B, C, and D. You can see it right here. This is what we worked on. So we did this right here, and you should have submitted it like I showed you last week. That should all be pretty familiar to you. If you have any questions, let me know. No shame in not knowing. I just wanted to make sure you guys get them in there. So those should have been submitted by tonight. For next week, and I said we're going to go through these quizzes, which we'll go through in class. We'll go through. It's something I put together. I'm not too worried about it. I know I have them on there, but don't worry about it. You're not going to get in trouble if you didn't put them in. I just like to go through those to get you familiar with Nav. It's basically just to learn how to use Blackboard. That's really all I put them in there for. And then September 10th, which is next week, we've got quiz 1, CAD quiz 1, which again, same kind of thing. We'll just go over it in class. And then we got drawings E, F, G, and H. So we got drawings E, F, G, and H. So let's take a look at drawings E, F, G, and H. What do they look like? And we will go ahead. Let me see if I can't grab those from over here. I think they're over here. Maybe they aren't. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and grab this right here. We'll go ahead and get rid of go to here. And let me see if I can go ahead and do this. I'm going to open and recent files, if I can do that. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and open up something else. Oh, let's see. I should have these all downloaded. Let's see. I guess not. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to here. And by the way, you guys probably can't even see that. You're still looking at this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use Blackboard right here, and I'm going to go back over to here. And I'm going to go over here to intro assignments week 2. Just to be clear on this, and we're going to go look at these right here. So this is what we talked about before, and what I'm going to do right now is we have these, and we worked on last week A, B, C, and D, and so I'm going to go ahead and rotate like that. So you got, this is A, and then we did B, and then C, and then D. Okay, so those are the ones we worked on last week. So that's good. We're getting there. Okay, so now that we've done that, what's next? So going on to the next thing. Now we got drawing E. Now drawing E, if you think about it, it's really very similar to what we did in D. Okay, you've got these angles. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you're working in AutoCAD, one of the things you always want to look for is angles. Okay, in this particular case, you see that this says right here, let me just go ahead and mark that so you can see it. You see this right here says 60 degrees typical, all right? And that means right there, that is a clue. That means that all the angles that you see in here are going to be typical. Also, if you see this 2.5 typical, that means all these distances are the same. And over here, same thing. That's what TYP means. It means typical. So that's how that all works together. Okay, so that's what we have. And so what we want to do is we work with this right now. This particular object, you're going to notice that there's only one dimension here, 0.25. So each tab is 0.25, okay? Now, let me just go back up here and let me just kind of go back to this here, because what we're talking about here is this one had something different. This one actually had 2 distances. Please notice this, because I'm going someplace with this. Just notice, you may say, well, who cares? What's the big deal? It makes a difference. Okay, let me show you why it makes a difference. So let me see here. So where is little annotate? Right there. Okay, so what you've got here, I'm going to annotate if I can get that. Yeah, so over here, what you've got is a distance here and a distance here. When you have that right there, that is your X and your Y. It's hard to write here, don't laugh. Okay, so you've got your X and you got your Y, and that's telling you that in each direction it's going over 0.25 in the X and 0.25 in the Y. So whenever you see 2 values like that, that's what it means. That means right there. And so you're going to be putting both in there. So let me let this guy in. All right, Shane is okay. Let me do this. Let me clear these real quickly here. Clear all those. And back to the mouse, and let the students in. Okay. All right, hi there, Shane. Okay, and so what we're doing right here is you've got that. So down here on E, you're going to notice that there's only one dimension. That means that as you do this, you are going to be able to just simply draw 0.25. You don't have to put an X and Y in this one. So this one's actually easier. But the main thing you got to do here is you have to set up your 60 degrees. You got to do that. So that's going to be important if you got to recognize how to do that. Which brings up the whole polar tracking discussion. Okay, brings up the polar tracking. So let me do a couple things. Let me kind of do a quick backtrack and review what we did last week, okay? Because this is going to be important. I'm going someplace. Everything I'm doing here has a reason, okay? I'm doing things in a certain order. Now, last week, we did the dots drawings. Now, I'm trusting that all you guys did the dots drawings. Okay, dots 1 and dots 2. And those are the ones where we did the connect the dots. If you didn't do those, just to kind of remind you of what we did last week, is I actually had those, and I'm going to go ahead and do this real quickly here, if I can do that. Yeah, I can go ahead and open up dots 1. Now I'm going to open up dots 1, and as I open up dots 1, you'll see it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up so you guys can see it. I'm going to do a new share right here so you guys can see my dots 1 here. So here's the dots 1. Can you guys see AutoCAD right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we did last week, just to review, because I know that not everyone did this, is we went ahead and did this where we did a connect the dots. 1, 2, then we went out here to 3. And the purpose of this right here was just to learn how to use AutoCAD zooming functions. And again, just to review, your mouse right here, your mouse, if you can see this right here, you have a wheel on your mouse. The wheel is what controls your ability to pan and zoom. When you roll the mouse forward, you zoom in, like you can see it on my screen right now, that zooms you in and out. And then when you press it down, you hold it down, you're able to pan. Okay, that's just review. In case you missed that last week, that is a very important thing. These are all formative skills, 7, 8. And I'm zooming to these different items right here. And as I do, I talked earlier about the gold star on your forehead. Here's our figurative gold star. I go here and I go to finish it, and boom, we're done. Okay, so what's the purpose of this? Why do we do this? Does Tom just have a situation where he wants to treat us like children? No, I teach this to professionals. I teach this to engineers because when you're learning AutoCAD, you have to know how to control the mouse. You've got to learn how to find stuff, and you've also got to learn how to use snaps. So this exercise does a lot of things. Number one, it teaches you how to start the line command. Number two, it teaches you how to snap to an object by actually hovering your cursor and seeing that snap. The next thing it teaches you how to do is how to pan and how to zoom. And the next thing it teaches you how to do is to keep all that going in a command. So I'm actually teaching you 4 things in that command. That's why I have you doing it. So dots 1 and dots 2, we did those last week. So other than that, that was that. And then what we did is we went ahead and we started to do the drawings. Okay, we did the drawings. And I think I saved those to my desktop, maybe. Maybe I did that. Let's see here. I think we did. Let's see here. Did I save those? Yeah, I did. So last week I went ahead and I went ahead. Okay, this is starting the wrong one here. So you guys probably are not going to see that. So what I'm going to do is rather than do that, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to go back to last week, which is over here, drawing A. And this is what I did last week. So drawing A, we worked on this. Okay, and we said the drawing B was similar. So we didn't worry about the second one. And then what we did is over here, your previous documents always show up here. I've got drawing C. So I go to drawing C, and drawing C looks like this. And I think somebody else just showed up for class. Let's see here. Let me see. Let me go ahead and pop this down and see if I can't find that out. 1 second here. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just got something from a student. Let me just do this real quickly here. Okay. Okay, back to AutoCAD. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this one. No, go back to here. Okay, okay, so you guys are still seeing AutoCAD right now. You're seeing drawing C. Is that correct? Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, very good. Okay, Nathan's here. Great. All right, Nathan, I just let you in. Good to have you here. Shane, good to have you here too. Shane, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. I'm just I'm driving home from work.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, well, you making a priority out of this. Yeah, you don't have to put yourself on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to put yourself on as much as I enjoy seeing your face, you don't have to turn on your turn the on. Well, you're probably doing a FaceTime though, so it's fine. Whatever you got to do. Good to have you here. Okay, okay. So anyway, that was drawings A and C, and from those you can infer how to do B and D. At least you should be able to if you're thinking. Okay, I shouldn't say if you're thinking. That's probably not kind. But I did that on purpose so you guys have to kind of think it through and apply these principles to the other thing. You guys can get there. If you can't, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. So now that we got that, I showed you drawings C and D. And here's the other thing I want to show you is we also took a look at this. I've got this hospital floor plan. These are all downloads. You guys can do these. This is a floor plan. By the way, if my connection craps out, I'll be right back in as soon as I can. So don't worry about that. Just stay put. I'll get right back to it. Shouldn't have any problem, but last week we had an issue and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if there's too much graphics going on for Zoom or what, but anyway, we're going to continue going. Here's a drawing I opened last week. It's called Hospital Floor Plan. This is actually a hospital that is in Brooklyn, New York. I measured this every wall, door, and window. My crew measured this back in 2002. My son, who's now an architect in Kansas City, actually worked on this with me when he was 14, and we drew this all. And so here's the thing. What I want to show you guys is how to pan and zoom. So again, how to pan and zoom, you can use, again, the wheel on your mouse. The wheel on your mouse can actually do this. If I do this, if I just roll it back and forth, and go back to this, okay, make sure it's got it there. Right, we're there, okay. If I just roll the wheel backwards and forwards, I'm pushing it away from me, I'm pulling it towards me, okay? So you're able to do that, that's the first thing. The next thing is if I push it down, I can actually, when I push down the wheel, I can actually pan, okay? That's an important thing, okay? Just that you're aware of that. So once I've panned and zoomed, I can actually look at these different items. And then one other thing I showed you, I think last week, at least very briefly, is, once you've kind of panned and zoomed and seen this object right here, you can then go up here and you can actually cause your, you could actually go ahead, let me move this out of the way. You could actually go ahead and you could, by doing this, let me go back to here, sharing my screen, go back to here. All right, there we go, there. Okay, share that. Okay. So what we got right here is back to here. All right, can you guys see the AutoCAD right now?
No.
All right, for some reason. All right, for some reason it does this. Okay, it says it's paused. I'm not sure why. Let me just go ahead and resume it. Can you guys see it now? No? Still no. All right, let me do this. Let me do a new share and see if we can't do it this way. See if it'll let me do that. Can you guys see AutoCAD now?
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks. So the thing I want to show you guys is this right here, that as you're working with AutoCAD, you have the ability to go up here, and up here is your layers. This is where you can turn layers on and off in AutoCAD. That's what you can do with that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how to work with that. What I do is I actually go here, and I click on this little arrow right here, and when I click on this little arrow here, I get my list of layers, okay? And so what I have the ability to do right here, now I went over this last week, so this is review. I can turn my layers off. So you notice it right here, as I click on that, I can turn my layers off, and that is how we can control AutoCAD. That's how we do this. So we have that going on. Okay, so just that you're aware, that's how you do that. So that's all kind of basic stuff we went over last week. Let me kind of get into something else here right now, which we were working on. Okay, so we're going over, let me go ahead and change the sharing right now to this right here. What I want to do is I want to do a new share, and I want to go ahead and share this. And this is, we can go ahead and use this. And this is what we went over last week, getting started with AutoCAD. So we went over last week what the screen elements were. We went over what the starting commands were, how to start commands and so forth. We talked about the command line. We talked about some of the commands that were available. Then we also had some other things such as starting commands. We also saw how to measure angles. We saw how to do that. We started to work on that. We saw how, in other words, the lower left corner is 0, 0, and as you draw from there, you're going to use an X and a Y value to actually move your cursor. We saw how to open a drawing. We opened the hospital floor plan. And then we also, let's see here, then the next thing we saw how to pan and zoom inside of AutoCAD. So we saw those things and then talk a little bit. We didn't talk about saving a drawing file, so we'll get to that next. So what I'm going to do right now is I am now going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open another file here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another PowerPoint here, and I'm going to open up chapter 2. Now, chapter 2 is where we get into some of the basic drawing and editing commands. We've already done a couple of these. So one of the things we've seen is drawing lines. Okay, now drawing lines. Can you guys all see this PowerPoint right now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So what we saw last week is when you start working with AutoCAD, you can start to draw, and then you can tell AutoCAD where to go. We also saw last week that there are different kinds of options that show up. We saw last week that we could actually use close and undo as we're in the line command. So we'll review that again tonight. And then we also saw, I don't know, we saw erase. We need to talk about erase. So how do I erase something in AutoCAD? Let's take a look at how we do that. Erasing is the first of our real editing commands. Let's just go through this. So when you're going to work on something and you need to erase it, we go ahead and do this. We'd say, okay, how do I get rid of this? So I'm in this, right? Let me just go into this one. I'll go to the C right now. So for some reason it did this, my screen. Okay, let me go to resume share. Didn't like that. Okay, so let's go over here. We will go over to here and we'll go to share. Okay. All right, can you guys see AutoCAD right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you something here. Now to erase something in AutoCAD, this is how you do it. You can do it, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm gonna show you these different ways, so watch this. Let's say I didn't want this line right here. First of all, you'll notice as I hover my cursor over it, it highlights slightly, okay? If I click on it, it's highlighted and it has on it 3 grips. Those are called grips. The 3 squares you see are called grips. Those blue squares actually can be used for editing, which we'll get to later, but for right now, Just understand they're called grips. Whenever you see grips on an item, that means that that item is selected right now, meaning that any command that you start, it's going to affect whatever has the grips on it. So it's very important that you always pay attention to whether or not you want all the items selected that are. So if, for instance, I only want to get rid of this particular line, but I mistakenly had this line also selected, whatever I do right now is going to move both of them. So what I'd want to do is I'd want to deselect and select what I want. So I got this one right here. Now, to erase it, there's several different ways to do it. First of all, if I just want to do a CAD thing, I can just use a, oh, hi there. Nate, can you hear me? Or, Nate, you should be coming in now. Okay, I think Nate's back in. Okay, so Nate, can you hear me okay? Hi, Nathan, can you hear me okay? All right, we'll continue. So I've got this selected right now. Now, here's the thing I want to show you. When you're working with AutoCAD, there is a command up here. I want to show it to you. And let's see, where did that go? All right, I had this. Yeah, here we go. I want to use my, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. You see this right here? It looks like an eraser. Okay, right there. I've got that. It looks like an eraser. That's the erase command. Okay, and the erase command allows us to erase items. So once you have something selected, you can just use it that way. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all these drawings right here. So now we're back to here. And so what I'm going to do right now is with this selected, I'm going to click on the erase command. And at that point, let's see if it does that. Yeah, it goes and erases that with that selected. Okay, now here's another thing that's really cool about AutoCAD. If you said, oh man, I screwed up, I need that back. Okay, well, to get it back, you can use the undo command. Now the undo command is also available right in the same location. And so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go ahead and show you where the undo and the redo commands are, because in AutoCAD, there's an undo and redo. They're right up here. Here is the undo. It looks like this arrow going over to the left. That's your undo. You could also just type in the command undo. Okay, so that allows us to undo something. So let's go ahead and undo that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit undo and watch what happens. I hit undo and it comes back. So undo comes back. Now notice right here next to it, you've got another command. And what you've got right there is right next to it, you've got an arrow going the other direction. Who has a guess as to what that might be? I'll wait.
Redo.
Redo. You got undo, you got redo. Okay, so very good. Thank you for waxing bold, whoever that was. And I appreciate that. And so what you got right here is you've got redo. Okay, so we got that. Let me get back to here and get back to where we were. All right, and okay, back over to here. And we're going to get back to the redo right over to here. Okay, right to there. Share this. Okay, all right. So now we're back to here. Okay, so we did the redo. So you got the undo and the redo are next to each other. So we go to undo, and it does the undo. And then the redo. It redoes anything that you do, okay? So you redo and undo, go right next to each other. So that's an important thing, okay? Does anybody, by any chance, I'm gonna throw this out here, this is extra credit. In Windows, there actually is a key sequence that you can use to do the undo command. Does anybody know what that is?
Control Z.
Control Z, yes, Control Z, or Z as my Canadian friends would say. If you tap Control Z, it will undo the last thing. So watch this, if I click on this, and if I delete it, like we talked about, and then I use Control Z. I just use Control Z on the keyboard, does the same thing. So Control Z does an undo as well. So that's undo and that's redo. That's an important thing. So those are a couple things that'll be helpful. Now, how else can I erase? If I click on this, I can also right click my mouse and you'll see right up here, you see erase. It's right there. Selected, you can choose erase right there. Boom. So you can do it that way. I'm going to undo it, Control Z. Now I'm going to do it one more way. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then on your keyboard, there's a delete key. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but there's a delete key. If you hit your delete key, it does the same thing. So those are like a number of different ways to delete something. So when you want to delete something, you can. Now here's the next thing. You're going to run into this when you're working with AutoCAD. This is something, and if you've got AutoCAD running right now, just go ahead. I'll give you guys a minute to go ahead and open AutoCAD and go ahead and open Drawing C. I'll give you guys a minute to do that. Go ahead and open up AutoCAD over Drawing C. So you guys we're all looking at the same thing. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. And then I'll show you this next thing, because selecting items is part of your skill set in learning how to use AutoCAD. I want to make sure you guys understand this. So yeah, that's something that, as far as this goes, I don't think there's a way. Yeah, I don't know that there's a way to see your screens, but so anyway, we're just going to continue on here. I, so anyway, give you guys a few more minutes here. So yeah, go ahead and open up your drawing C or drawing A. It doesn't really matter which one. Just go ahead and open up one of the drawings you worked on last week. And then what we're going to do is I want to show you something about selecting objects for erasure or any kind of editing command. Because when you're working with editing commands, they all operate the same way. They all do the same thing. So, okay, I'm going to assume you guys are all there now. Now, here's the thing. When you want to select something in AutoCAD, I'm going to show you something here. First of all, if you don't have any command running and you click your mouse over here on the right and you start to pull it over towards the left, you're going to notice you're going to get this green selection right here. That is what is known as a crossing. Green means go. It means anything that that your cursor touches is going to be selected. What I mean is this, like, look at this right here. You see that right now, this line at the lower left corner right here, it's not all selected, it's just touched. But when I touch it, it's selected. See that? I go like that. Anything that's touched is selected. So if I go over here, nothing, and as soon as I touch something, it gets selected. So it's not very picky, okay? And once I select it, it has grips on it. Now, if I ever do this and I don't want those items selected anymore, I can clear them by hitting my escape key. Please get used to using your escape key. Your escape key is at the upper left of your keyboard, okay? Locate it right now. You're gonna be wanting to locate that. So you hit your escape key to clear the grips. Now, if you hold your cursor down and you don't let go, you can do this. You can actually make a random shape, all right, like I just did right there. That random shape right there is what is known as a lasso. That is also green, and that also allows you to grab anything it touches. That's a lasso. That's by holding it down, okay? So the two choices are, so everything's selected. Now if I do this, and I just gotta do this, you notice anything it touches gets selected, but I can make any shape I want to. Now here's the thing. If you go from left to right, same thing happens, only it's blue. Blue is an old school command, and it's known as a window. Now here's the thing, a window is blue. And blue does not mean go. Blue means only those items that fall entirely inside are selected. So notice this. I'm touching this dimension. It's not selected. Still not selected. Nothing selected. What's the matter? Is AutoCAD broken? What's the matter with this? I finally get my first item selected, which is that little line right there. Now, as I continue to move over here, and as objects fall entirely inside of it, they're selected. That's because the two are different. A window starts from left to right and is only going to select the items that fall entirely inside of it. So it's more discriminating. If I click and hold down, I can do the same thing and make kind of the random shape I saw before. Same thing. Okay, so we've got that. So that's how we go ahead and we make that happen. So that is how you would select items in AutoCAD. So let's say I wanted to get rid of everything. I can click here, select everything, and then I can hit my erase command, boom, gone. Then if I want it back, I go up here and I undo it, okay? I redo it, I undo it, I redo it, I undo it. You get the idea. So there's a lot of flexibility here. And as I'm showing you this, it's to show you you can be very, very confident with AutoCAD, okay? Because AutoCAD is very good. Now, that being said, you should save your particular project very often. I'll show you, I'll throw a freebie out here. Let's say I want to stretch this. So instead of being 7 units long, it's 9 units long. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So to stretch it, again, this is the stretch command. This is kind of cool. I'll just show you this real quickly here. Stretch command is actually located right here. And again, this is bonus content, okay? It's not something you have to realize, but I just want to show you something. This is stretch command. Okay, now what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this stretch command. And what I am going to do is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it. Now, when I click on the stretch command, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and select these items right here. I'm going to click there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click and I'm going to type in 2. When I make it 2, look at that. I just stretched it right there. Isn't that cool? So it made that 9. Okay, so when I just did that, what I just did, I was able to go ahead and use the same kind of selection that I did before, and I used it in different editing commands. So that's how you work with this. So essentially, whenever you're working with different commands, you have the ability to select certain things, and you can use your different techniques. A crossing, a crossing lasso, a window lasso. Those allow you to do those things, and that's how we go ahead and make that happen. So that's how you're able to do these kind of things. So that's how we make that happen. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and clear all those drawings, and I'm going to go back to mouse, and I am going to just undo it back to where it was, and we're back to there. So that's how we go ahead and make that happen. Okay, so that's how we go ahead and do different kinds of edits in AutoCAD, and that's going to serve as a foundation to everything else we do. So we have that going on right there. So now that we have that right there, we've got a basic idea as far as how to make those items work. Here's another thing I'm going to show you real quickly in AutoCAD. In AutoCAD, there are a number of different shortcut devices, meaning that you can actually type in just a letter, and when you type in just that letter, it's going to allow you to invoke a certain command. For instance, the zoom command is the letter Z. If I type the letter Z and hit enter, it brings me into the zoom command. I can just go ahead and pick, and I can go ahead and pick an area right there and zoom into it right there. I can go ahead and use zoom. If I type in L and hit enter, it starts the line command, all right? If I type in C and hit enter, it starts a circle command, all right? So these are all different items that you're able to invoke just by typing one letter. So you can type in commands in AutoCAD, but it has to be followed by the enter key. All right. You guys doing okay? All right, doing all right. Oh, one more person, Nathan Henry, keeps on having a tough time staying in the room. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see, Nathan. Okay, I think, okay, let me make sure Nathan's here. Okay. All right, Nathan, can you hear me? Okay, not sure what's going on there. All right, make sure I got everyone in the room as I'm supposed to. Looks like
Oh, I had a question. My screen's not set up like yours. All your commands are at the top, and mine are divided on the side of the screen.
Are you using Windows for Mac?
Mac.
You are using Mac?
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
So there's going to be some differences because I'm using the Windows version, but the basic commands will be there. You might have to poke around for them a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Nathan, how are we doing here, Nathan? Looks like let's try to get Nathan in here. Waiting room, let's go ahead and admit Nathan. Okay, Nathan, you should be here now. Can you hear me, Nathan?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Sorry, my internet keeps crashing.
Yeah, I noticed that because I think I've let you in several times, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Good to
this
have
is
you
like the third time.
All right, well, good to have you here. Hopefully, hopefully third time's a charm.
Hopefully.
So, good to have you here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on here. And what we just now, before I move on from here, I went through quite a bit there. Are there any questions about undo, redo, starting commands, selecting items, erasing? Any questions about that before I move on? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on here. Okay, so those are some basics. Now, getting back into what we've been discussing, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to continue on this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going through here. We talked about erasing objects. Can you guys see my PowerPoint right now?
Yes, but on the Mac, I don't have that erase option.
No, I'm just asking right now that, are you guys right now on the screen? On my screen, my presentation screen, are you seeing right now erasing objects? Are you guys seing that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we see it.
All right, good. All right, that's all I'm interested in right now. So what I'm showing you right now is just, you know, this is teaching stuff right now. So here's the content. And if you guys want to, you can take pictures of these slides if it's helpful for you, or do a screen capture. In any case, this is erasing objects. It's also going to be on the Zoom, but you might find you should do that. So we just went over the erase command. We talked about the erase command, how to use that if we use the erase command. So we did that. We saw that we could click on an object, and there are several different ways to start the erase command. Now, another thing here is polar tracking. As we get into this right now, we're going to talk about polar tracking. Polar tracking allows you to draw lines at 90-degree angles. We went over that last week. And one of the things about that that we talked about, let me see if I can do that. Okay, yeah. And so one of the things we talked about is you can draw lines at 90-degree angles, or that's ortho mode. Polar tracking allows you to draw at other angles, okay? So we can actually choose and make different angles right there. So we're gonna see how to do that right now. So as I get into this, we're going to see how this works. It's actually pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and set this next one up. So now here's something here, drawing rectangles. We didn't get into this yet, but let me show you how to draw a rectangle. Okay, because drawing rectangles, another foundational thing in AutoCAD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right back over to here, and I'm going to share my AutoCAD, this one right here. And now that I'm in here right now, can you guys see AutoCAD right now? Black background?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just get his pan over here, and I'm going to make this other layer current object. I'm going to show you guys how to make a rectangle. So watch this now. So going up to here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little annotation here. All right, and so that means I'm going to go up here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to choose the rectangle command. Rectangle command is right up here. You'll notice it's on the draw. It's on the draw panel. Looks like that, and it's looks like a rectangle. Okay, so I click on it, and when I click on the rectangle command, you'll notice that it says specify first corner point. Okay, take my hands off. All right, so let me talk about this. So it's saying specify first corner point. You'll also notice on my command line, it also is giving me the same information. Let me show you what I mean by that so you guys are clear on this. Okay, so I want it to be very clear. All right, so back to here, and it's saying that. And so what I want to do right now is we'll continue on this if I can. All right. Let's see. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll clear all the drawings there. And getting back to here, we will just go ahead and we're going to go to annotate. So back to annotate right here. All right, now right down here, just to show you this, down here, this is your command line. I'm highlighting it down here. This is your command line. You'll notice it's right there. And it's saying the same thing that my mouse says. So let me show you what I mean by this. So I go back here to my mouse, and you see that my mouse is now saying the same thing. Clear all those drawings right there, go back to the mouse, and now it's saying the same thing. So specify first corner point. So now it's saying that. So what happens right here is I'm going to click on a point. Now when you do that, it starts to give you kind of like the other side. You can just go ahead and pull your mouse back and forth, this kind of thing. If you want an exact distance, you can type that in too. And again, that would be X and then Y. So if I wanted to draw a rectangle that's 6 units wide by 4 units high, I'd type in 6, 4. So 6, 4. Hit my enter key. Now don't be dismayed if it goes over the side. It just does that. When you hit your enter key, it's going to pull the trigger and execute the command. So watch it. Hit the enter key, boom. There's my